We're live. Well, hopefully someone will dial in at some point. There we go. 11 people.
Oh, wow.
11
Already?
people, all of a sudden. There we go. I think it was waiting for the actual timer to finish counting down. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, can you send us a message? Just type in the comments whether or not you can hear us and see us all right, because we don't want to chunter on for probably about 3 hours. It won't be 3 hours, don't worry, if you can't hear us. If you type in the comments on YouTube, it should pop up on our screen and we will be able to see what you're saying. All right, so if somebody would be kind enough to do that for us, then that would be good. What time is it? So it's 4 o'clock. We'll give it a couple of minutes just to see who else pitches up. This will be recorded, so those that don't pitch up can still watch it. Anyway, we've got no comments coming through just yet. Let's see what happens. It'd be nice to get some comeback at some point, wouldn't it, to know they can actually see and hear us.
Otherwise, they're just sitting here.
There we go. Thank God. Oh, thank God. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Hannah. Thank God for that. Right. So, should we make a start?
Yep.
Okay. So, first of all, I'm Dave Knight. I'm obviously from Do3, race director, and this to my right is.
I'm Corinne. I'm also full-time working for Do3. Not sure what my job title is really. General Dog's Body, I think.
You're so much more than that, Corinne. You're also race director, didn't I tell you? Anyway, so we've done a few of these races now, and apart from this, we also do loads of other stuff: coaching, open water venue. Lots of you will know us from that. So we're used to doing this kind of thing, but it's still pretty stressful. Don't mind telling you that. So how many have we got? 17 people. Excellent. Okay. We will keep on running through comments and questions at some point, and we'll keep an eye on what's coming in. We can see you. We can see your pictures. If you've got pictures, we can see your names and all that kind of stuff. So keep the comments coming, and we will run through them as and when appropriate. Thanks, Debbie. As and when appropriate during the session. Right. I'm just about to say we're not going to waffle after I've just waffled for 5 minutes. We've got good form for waffling, so we'll try and keep it short. Okay. So. Should we start?
Yeah.
Okay, right, good. So first of all we're going to do is we're going to run through the athlete guide that you should have been sent. There's been a few people who haven't got it because email issues and all that kind of stuff, but most of you, or if not nearly all of you, should have had it by now. And again, we won't go through it in ultra detail, but we'll go through the pertinent points because we do want to try and keep this short. All right, but first of all, thank you very much for entering our race. We know there's lots of races out there for you to choose from. And so this is our 3rd year. And I don't know about yourself, Corinne, but I'm sure you'll say the same thing. Super proud of it. Absolutely love having you guys along. And we know that you can choose loads of different races and you've chosen to come and race with us. So thank you very much. Should we go through the event schedule?
Seems like a good place to start.
Okay, right, there we go. So it looks a little bit blurry on the screen, but hopefully you can see that okay. So just going to rattle through the times for the weekend. So starting off on Saturday, 6 till 9 registration. Now, there will be obviously plenty of staff there to take registrations. Try and kind of, don't all pitch up at 6 o'clock if you're coming on the Saturday. Try and spread it out a little bit. Of course, you won't know who's coming when, but just try not to all kind of desperately get there at 6 o'clock because you may have a queue if that's the case. So 6 till 9 registration. I think we'd prefer them to come on Saturday if possible.
Yeah, I think it's generally less stress for everybody. If you're local to come and register on the Saturday, then you've got less to worry about on the Sunday, and the queues are likely to be shorter on both days because people are a bit more spread out. Don't forget, if you're a British Triathlon member, don't forget your membership card. You will need to show it if you've entered as a BTF member. And there's not great reception at Park Farm, so it's worth taking a screenshot of your card from the membership site, and then you can show us that. Make sure it's still in date. That will make things a whole lot easier rather than trying to get the internet when you're in the middle of nowhere isn't always easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Also on the Saturday, there won't be any racking, no bike racking on Saturday. So all you're doing is registering. You're not going to put your bike in as well. All the bike racking happens on Sunday morning. We might as well cover the car park and all that kind of stuff as well, haven't we, for registration? So there's a field effectively, which is our car park for both the race and registration, and it's off Spring Lane. If you have a look at the athlete guide for the little map there, it's effectively a field. So you'll go into the field, and hopefully there'll be a few lines of cars there, and you'll be able to figure out where to park. There should be some staff up there directing you, and some cones to try and direct you. There shouldn't be any need for double parking. So go in and find yourself a suitable spot, and then find your way the bottom left-hand corner of the field. There will be a rope and some signs for you to follow. It's like finding your way through caves, isn't it? Following the ropes.
The blind
to lead you to registration, which is probably about. It says 15 minutes in the guide. I don't think it's 15 minutes, is it? It's probably...
That'd be a nice leisurely walk, taking in the view of the lake.
It's not... 15 minutes sounds horrifically long way to walk, doesn't it? It's not that far.
And it's all downhill on the way to registration.
Yeah. So on the Sunday, car park opens at 4:30. In reality, it'll probably open earlier than that because there are going to be some people camping in the field. So 4:30 car park opens, and 4:30 till 7:30 registration is open. Now, for the sprint athletes, it'll probably stay open a bit longer than that. But if we just say 7:30 registration is open for the bulk of people, including the middle distance athletes, because of course your race starts at 7 anyway, so you're going to have to be registered and ready well before that. The transition will also open at 4:30. So as soon as you've registered, you can go and pop your bike in there. We'll talk about transition and putting your bike in a second. And 7:30 the on the edge middle distance race starts, and 8:30 the sprint race starts. Now again, we are being flexible in the registration for the sprint because we're not expecting everyone to register before the middle distance race starts, but you can continue to register and rack your bike when the middle distance race is live, because effectively the transition area is split in two. So you won't be allowed to go on the middle distance side of transition, if that makes sense. So having said all that, if you're doing the sprint or the middle distance, the best thing to do is allow yourself plenty of time and not be rushing around. I know there's going to be guaranteed to be people rushing around at the last minute, but don't rush around. Get yourself there, plenty of time, and just try and do things slow time, because it'll take the whole energy level down and make things a lot easier.
Can I just mention about the car park? Please make sure that you check where the parking is. As Dave said, it's a field off Spring Lane. It's not at Compton Verney Art Gallery and Museum, and it's not the main entrance to Park Farm either. So please don't come down. I can't remember what the name of the road is between the Fossway and Kyneton. You need to go further along the Foss to Spring Lane, and then you're sort of heading towards the village of Combrook. So please make sure you check the What 3 Words address for where you're parking. It's the same place on Saturday evening and on Sunday.
Yeah, okay. And just to finish off timings and things, hasn't got it in the guide actually, but the sprint prize giving will be at midday, and the on the edge prize giving will be at 2 p.m. weather permitting. Well, it should be at 2 p.m. Hopefully it won't be raining. We'll talk about that separately. Okay, so what have we got before the event? Hopefully, you have all done your race entry questionnaires. That's fine. It's a bit late to familiarise yourself with the bike course, I guess, now, isn't it? So hopefully
you can drive it.
You can drive it now, I guess. Yeah. So that's before the event. We're kind of past that. Race briefing Q&A. You're at the race briefing Q&A, and again, if you've got any questions, you want to type that into the comments down below. Parking we've kind of covered already. Spectators, let's see what's in spectators. We obviously welcome spectators. The more the better. They always make for a great atmosphere. So if you've got friends and family, they're welcome to come along, and they can park in the same car park as you. It's a nice big field, so there should be plenty of room up there. And again, there shouldn't be any need for worrying about being double parked and that kind of thing and not being able to get out. There should be plenty of room, so they can kind of come, midway through the day. If they don't want to get out of bed and watch you do the swim start, maybe they want to come halfway through the race, they can do that too. Dogs are permitted, provided they're kept on leads at all times and be ensured to bag and bin any waste. because of the fire risk with extremely dry weather.
Yes,
we've been experimenting.
we wrote the athlete guide when the weather was extremely dry.
Yeah,
it's not quite so dry this week.
no,
I think it should be, the conditions should be fine, but
yeah.
That still applies that we don't allow any barbecues or fires or anything like that on the field.
Yeah. Okay.
Or in the car park.
Just in terms of what's on site, catering, there's going to be T&B Cakes doing tea and coffee and homemade cakes, and there's also going to be Hebrew Espresso, who are going to be doing espressos and some fancy kind of bagely things as well, I think. There's going to be Lewis from Bike Fixers is going to be on site, so if you've got any last minute emergency panic moments with your bike, then Lewis will be there, but he's the only one there, so hopefully there won't be too many last minute panic moments. He will also be on the bike as a bike mechanic, a roving bike mechanic as well, but again we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Midland wetsuit.
And we've also, they're not in here, are they? We've also got Midland wetsuit,
West Midlands
wetsuit hire, which they don't just hire, they sell stuff as well. So he'll be there with last minute goggles and last minute race belts and last minute stuff, basically.
And bobs that you might have forgotten.
Yeah. So there are going to be people there to help you out if you suddenly have a last minute moment. Registration, let's just see if there's anything else in registration we haven't covered. I think we've already, I think we've covered most things in terms of registration. Corinne mentioned the BTF cards, bringing those, making sure that you've got those with you, some kind of photographic ID. If you don't have those, you will have to pay for a BTF 1 day license. It's compulsory. It's a permitted race. We have BTF officials on site, and everyone has to have their day license in place. It's £6. So if you haven't got it, you can't find it, whatever, we will not let you race unless you have either given us proof of a license or you've paid your £6. Some of you will have paid that as part of your registration, so we'll be aware of who has and who hasn't. And if you do need to pay for it, we bring cash if you can, but we do have a card machine, but with the signal is a little bit dodgy there as well. So let's try and keep it simple and bring cash if you need to. And the same goes for relay teams as well. So there's 3 of you racing. You will all need licenses. Okay, so please be aware of that. Anything else with that you can think of? Okay, so registration pack. So you'll be given, when you register, you will be given, have you already said this? No, okay. You'll be given a pack with your race number in. The race number can go on your race belt or pin it on your top, which we'll talk about in a minute. A bike number and a helmet number, and I think there's a bag number for kind of street gear and putting on your bag in transition as well. We do recommend that you get a race number belt and attach your race number to the race number belt. West Midlands Wetsuit Hire will have race belts, so if you haven't got one, he will have them there for sale. They just make the whole thing a damn sight easier. Otherwise, you're going to be pinning your numbers to your clothing. We will have some safety pins, but race number belts are much better for that.
They're much easier. I mean, you need to have your number on your back on the bike and on your front on the run. So if you haven't got a race belt, you've got to pin one on the front and one on the back, which is just a bit of a faff. So if you've got a number belt, you can just put it on your back and then spin it round to the front when you get onto the run. There will be a swim hat in there.
Swim hat.
You mentioned swim hat.
Yep.
I think the pink ones are for the middle distance and the yellow ones are for the sprint distance.
Perfect. Okay.
And you will also at registration have your number written on your hand. You please make sure that if you register on the Saturday and it washes off overnight, it shouldn't do, but if it does, please make sure you get it redone in the morning, because you will need to show the number on your hand when you go into and out of transition, and you won't be able to collect your bike if you don't have a number on your hand that matches the number on your bike.
Yeah, we'll probably be going along touching up people's numbers on the race morning, but yeah, try and do that for us if you could. Transition, we've got about 325 entrants across the 2 races, so it's going to be a fairly decent sized transition. So when you come and register, make sure you have a good old look around. Your bikes will be in a numbered location, so you won't be kind of pick and choosing. You will be given a place to park your bike. Yeah, effectively, you can see from the athlete guide and just on the screen there, it's effectively a big box with a T in the middle, with sprint being one side and middle being the middle distance being the other. You can see on the diagram there's an entrance on the one side, the side closest to registration, and there's another kind of entrance exit which is swim and bike in, and another one which is bike and run out. But again, just have take lots of time to just kind of walk yourself through transition and make sure you know what's where and what the kind of your flow of your route through transition is going to be. There will be signs and there will be staff there as well, so you should be all good with that. I'm kind of sense you're gonna say something.
No. And the positions, you've got numbered positions, but because you always come in at one end and go out the other end, there's no sort of better place to be in terms of being at one end of the rack or the other, because everybody has to run the same distance through transition anyway.
So when you have registered and you want to put your bike into transition, your bike will be checked and your helmet will be checked, because we need to make sure that your helmet is safe and your bike is roadworthy for obvious reasons. So make sure that your brakes are working, your tyres are pumped up, your bike is in good overall working order, and you have bar ends in the end of your handlebars. If you don't know what bar ends are, when you get right to the end of your handlebars, if you've got an open hole in the end there, that's where your bar end should be. We can't have open-ended handlebars, and that means if you've got straight bars or you've got race kind of road bike racer type bars, whatever type of bars you've got, they can't have open ends because it can be dangerous if there's an accident. So we will be checking that. Brakes I've already said, and when you come to transition and put your bike in, when you rack your bike, put your helmet on and do it up as though you're going to be racing, because the staff will probably check to see you, make sure it's not too loose, not too tight, or predominantly not too loose actually, and that it buckles properly and that it's securely on your head to make sure that it's a nice, safe helmet.
Yep.
Yeah? I keep feeling like I'm forgetting something, but you can have one bag in transition per person. We do recommend that it's kind of like an airline cabin bag size bag, so don't bring some huge rucksack in and plastic bags and all that kind of stuff. We do have to keep transition tidy because, like I say, there's 300 people going to be in there, and they don't want to be tripping over your bag. So make sure that you've got a kind of a small, moderate size bag, but again, no bigger than kind of airline cabin baggage. Again, we've already said the racking will be numbered, so you should ideally rack your bike on the racking on your number by the saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when the number's facing you, your handlebars should be facing you, and your saddle will be hooked onto the racking bar. Okay,
it says here transition will not close. Well, technically that's not kind of true. It will close. It will close when the race starts. So you won't be able to. If anyone is late, you won't be able to get your bike in afterwards. So if you're late to arrive at the race start, so say the middle distance race starts at 7 o'clock, transition will actually close at 7. We can't let people in there after 7 o'clock because there'll be live racers coming through.
That'll be the middle distance section. Yeah. The sprint distance
will be
section will stay open when the middle distance race starts. So if you're a sprinter, you will still be able to get into transition. Yeah.
So you'll rack your bike and you'll be then preparing to go and swim. We do recommend you leave, it's about 250 metres or thereabouts to the swim start from transition. It's across grass, and you'll obviously have to walk over there and be there ready to go for 7 o'clock. There are kind of approximate race times on the start list, but they are just every 5 seconds. Don't think, I don't need to turn up till 7 minutes past 7 and 35 seconds, because it probably won't work like that. That's just to give you an idea of the spread and to give us an idea how long it's going to get people to get through. The best thing to do is to queue up from or before 7 o'clock, ready to go at 7 o'clock, and 8:30 for the sprint, and then just wait in line patiently if you can, because it's going to take 15 minutes to get I'm kind of going back about face here. I get about 10 minutes to get the middle distance athletes in, and about 15 minutes to get the sprint distance athletes in. Even though there's loads of you, you'll get in pretty quickly. You'll be fed in probably in single file, but fairly quickly. So don't run down there at the last second panicking. Some of you, if you haven't, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but just while I think about it, if you haven't provided a race swim time, and the moment's gone for that now, you will be starting towards the back of the field, okay? Because you're in race order, swim speed order, sorry. And we didn't know where to put you, so you'll be at the back of the field. Relay members will be able to enter transition to wait for example, the cyclist will be able to enter transition to wait for their swimmer to come out. So they will be allowed in there. So relay members will be waiting with the bike. I think we cover that somewhere else in here anyway. Okay, I think that's it for that side of things. Mm-hmm. How are we doing for time? 20 minutes. Are we doing all right, Corinne? We're doing all right. Marshals and staff, don't need to go into too much detail. There will be lots and lots of staff out there keeping an eye on you. So please, I know you're busy racing, but particularly when you're running, just give them a thumbs up or give them a wink or say thank you or whatever you want to do.
Some of them will have been there since 4 o'clock that morning. Some of them are
they're
actually,
amazing.
Will have been there for several days beforehand, helping us set up, maybe camping overnight. So yeah, do say thank you because they give up their time to support you and us obviously, and they're a great bunch of people and we love them lots. We do. They're amazing. So middle distance course. Now we're not going to go through this in a huge amount of detail because I want you to read through the athlete guide in the book. But just to summarise, the middle distance swim is 1900 meters. It is 2 long laps. So you're going to be getting into the water and turning left and following the boys all the way up to the end of the course and then around the top and then all the way back around. You're going to be doing that twice effectively for 1900 meters. We've had a question, as we expected to have a question, about whether it will be non-wetsuit or wetsuit swim. I'd be impressed if any race ever doesn't get asked that question. I posted the temperature that we had in the lake when we did the test swim on Thursday, which was I think it was 20.4 or something like that. We have a wetsuit rule exemption, which means that the standard British Triathlon rules in terms of wetsuit, whether you can wear a wetsuit or not, don't apply. But if the water temperature is over 25 degrees, you still can't wear a wetsuit. I think it's highly unlikely that the water temperature is likely to get up to 25 degrees between now and Sunday. We swim 3 times a week in the lake over the road at Compton, Verney. Very, very similar lake in terms of depth and size. And that was 20 degrees last night. And I expect both lakes will be around about 20 degrees at the weekend, which will mean you can wear a wetsuit if you want to wear a wetsuit. If you don't want to wear a wetsuit, you won't freeze. You'll be fine. Fine with or without. So it's entirely up to you.
I think there's going to be a fair amount of people not wearing them.
Yeah, I think certainly for the sprint, because it's quite a short swim. But it's up to you, whichever you feel more comfortable in.
Okay, so transition. Let's take a step backwards. When you finish your swim, you'll be exiting, going up a little ramp. So there's a carpeted ramp. Just take your time going along there because it can get a little bit slippery. And despite our best attempts, the carpet can sometimes get a little bit gathered because there's lots and lots of people running across it. So just be careful going up the ramp there. You'll then turn right and you'll head straight the way back to transition. I've put an image of transition on the screen there. You can just see at the bottom of the screen it says bike in. That's actually bike in and swim in. So for the middle distance athletes, your transition area is going to be directly in front of you where your bikes are racked, and you're going to be going straight out the bike out, top right. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Now, just for those of you who are slightly less experienced, make sure you don't put your helmet on before you touch your bike. That's always the way it should be. Okay, so helmet on, then you touch your bike, and similarly when you come back in, you put your bike on the racking and then you take your helmet off. Helmet is always before or first thing and last thing to do. That makes sense. So you're then going to run across the grass to the mount and dismount line, which will be on the kind of on the road just outside the field, and you'll be away onto the bike course. don't think there's anything else in there. Oh, if you're relay teams, that's when you'll be changing your chips over. So the chip is effectively your baton. So the biker, the cyclist, will be waiting by your bike position. You hand over the chip, and then attach the chip to your leg, and then jump on the bike, and then off you go on the bike. And similarly, when they come back in, the run will be waiting for you by your bike position.
The chip needs to be put on the ankle of the cyclist before they put their helmet on and get their bikes. They can't be already with their bike and helmet on before they have their chip. So the chip is first, then helmet, and then they can take their bike. And equally, when they come back, they rack their bike, take their helmet off, and then transfer the chip.
Okay. Bike signage. So we're going to have lots and lots of signage this year. We've increased the amount of signs from last year if you've done previous years, and we've got some bigger signs out there and that kind of thing. So that's the signs we're using. They're kind of a neon green, although some of them might be a slightly different shade of that, but that's effectively green signs with a black arrow. And we're putting little, what we're calling confidence signs along the way, confidence flags. Sometimes you can be going on a long leg and you haven't seen a sign for ages. You might be panicking about whether you've gone the right way. So we're going to put every now and again, we're going to put little. They're only small. They're like this big, but they're bright yellow and they're set in the verge, and it'll just give you a bit of confidence that you're on the right route. So you might see some of those along the route as well.
And key junctions will have marshals on as well. So there's. Are you going to talk about the route change?
Yep.
I'll let you do that.
So hopefully you guys will have seen the route or downloaded it or cycled it even, and will have a reasonable idea where you're going. If not, then obviously just follow the signs. There are some key junctions which kind of pull out onto what can be fairly fast roads. There are no closed roads, but it's Sunday morning and most of the roads are okay. But there are one or two where I think because they are quiet, people can sometimes put their foot down a little bit. So there are a couple of roads like that. So be really careful. Those junctions will have signs, like the rest of them, and will have a marshal on them as well.
The marshal can't tell you when it's safe to go, though. It's your decision when you pull out onto a junction or turn. So the marshals will not be calling clear or car or go or anything like that, because it's very easy to get those words confused when you're hearing them from a distance. So they will not be shouting whether it's clear to go. That's your decision to make. So please make sure you approach the junction thinking you will probably have to stop. There are no obligatory foot down junctions, but just be sensible. Don't tear into the junction and then have to brake suddenly last minute.
Yeah.
Especially because there may be the forecast is for showers on Sunday, so the roads may be wet. So just take care, please.
Yeah, there's a question. I don't know if you saw that question from Jane there. Will there be marshals? Will marshals be able to help with directions? So as Corinne just says, no, they can't. Unfortunately,
well, they can help with directions in terms of telling you which way to go, but they won't be telling you whether the traffic is clear.
Okay.
And they won't tell you when to cross the road on the run either.
Okay, so we're not going to go through in the whole route in detail, because again you can have a look at that as and when. So the main changes really from last year, if you've done the course last year, is when we come out of Lighthorn, you used to go straight across the junction at Lighthorn onto Old Gated Road. They've decided to build a mammoth housing estate on there now, so that's closed. So we're now turning left. Can't remember the name of the road now, but we're heading down towards the Fossway junction. But again, it'll be clearly signposted. It's quite a nice little stretch down there. You'll hit a roundabout and you'll turn right, and then you'll kind of come up the back way towards Chesterton and the windmill. So it's quite a nice little climb there, isn't it?
It's the fourth exit at the roundabout. So the new little route that we've had to do on the diversion, you'll come up to a roundabout and it's the fourth exit you're taking. There will be plenty of signage and there will be a marshal on that junction, but you will be going right round the roundabout almost. Yeah.
The rest of the course is the same as it has been on previous years, apart from there's a bit of a change as you come out of Farnborough. Previously we'd come out of Farnborough and we'd turn left and head towards Mollington, I think it was. Warmington, sorry. This time we're going to go straight on towards Avon Dasset and then turn left and come through towards Edge Hill that way. And again, on that little leg there was another quite a fast junction, isn't there, as it crosses I think it's the Banbury Road
You'll
there,
be going
isn't it?
straight across at that junction, so take
Yeah,
care of that
just yeah, we can't say that enough. Take care. The route in general has got some lumps and bumps in it. It's fair to say. Certainly over the first half, you climb up over Edge Hill and you do some rollers across the top of Edge Hill escarpment, and then once you get to kind of 26, 27 miles, you've done the bulk of the climbing, so you can get your head down and do some faster. What's the wind's going to be like? I haven't seen the wind yet, but hopefully you'll be able to get your head down and get some speed back once you get to that. Once you get to that point, but just be safe, be fast, but be safe. You know, it's common sense out there, please. If you do get into difficulty on the bike in terms of mechanicals, there are, say, Lewis from Bike Fixers is out there. So you will need to get a message to a marshal. So clearly, if you're nowhere near a marshal, that's going to be quite difficult. So the only you can do is shout to another competitor and ask them to notify the next marshal that they see. And then we'll try and get Lewis out to you ASAP.
Equally, if you pass someone and they look like they're in difficulty, just ask them, do they need a marshal, or do they need a mechanic, and then tell the next person that you pass, because otherwise it can be pretty lonely out there if your bike's broken and you don't know how to get help. So think of your fellow competitors and how you'd feel if it were you.
Yeah.
We're getting quite a few questions coming in. Some of them relate to the swim, some to the bike, some to the run. So I think probably what's easiest is if we save the questions till the end, because they're all a bit jumbled up at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. One relation to sheep poo. We'll come to that one. Okay. Transition bike to run. You'll turn back into Park Farm, and you will hit the transition line. You need to get off your bike before the transition line, if you don't already know that. Saw a few people failing to do that at Outlaw recently, but get off the bike before the transition line, push the bike back into transition. Now you're going to go when you in fact, if I bring up the transition again, is it on here? Is it on a different page? In fact, it's on here. Look, here we go. So when you come back in, bike in, if you look, is not the same as bike out. Your bike in is the same as run in. Swimming is the same as swimming. All right, so just so as you're aware of that, it's a different it's not the same as bike out. Probably the easiest way of putting it. Where do we get to? Oh yes, transition, helmet off, rack your bike, and then off out into the run.
Rack your bike, helmet off.
Was it going to say the other way around?
Yeah.
They know what I mean. And then out of transition and on to the run course. And then you've got your 21.1k run course. Now, it's mixed terrain. It's got some grass. It's got some kind of tarmac. What else has it got? It's got some
bark chips.
It's got some bark chips. You might have some muddy bits with the rain.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be too bad.
It's not too bad. It's not. We quite often get asked whether it's a trail run and whether people would be better off with trail shoes. Not really. There's probably one section which, if the rain's been particularly heavy in the days running up to it, it might be a little bit slippy, but it's very short. It's only like 5 meters or so.
Yeah.
So the rest of it is pretty good surface. But so there's quite a lot of off-road. So it might not be the best route for wearing your best carbon-plated shoes. Just ordinary road shoes are fine.
Yeah. Okay. What we didn't talk about on the bike is aid stations, actually, which we can go back to. It should be clearly marked. There's marshals out there. So you've got 2 laps to do. On the second lap, you are going to be... what's the best way of explaining this? On the second lap, you actually kind of follow the sprint route. Is that right? Am I going off piste here?
No, just 2 laps the same.
2 laps the same. Oh, of course. I'm thinking about different. I'm thinking about previous years. I'm sorry. Forgive me. So 2 laps the same. Thinking about a previous race. Going off track. Anything else on the run side of things that we can think of?
No.
Okay. So you effectively. When you run down you kind of run around a field and you run down a little wood and then you'll turn right. There is a split point where if you're fortunate enough to be on your second lap, you run directly towards the finishing arch, or if you're on your first lap, then you follow the signs to go onto your second lap. So there is a split, but it should be clearly marked. So just watch out for that. Feed stations. So I'm whizzing about on the screen here. There's a feed station. There's two feed stations roughly halfway around. But have a look at the map. They will have high five kind of aqua gels. I'm not sure what they call them now.
Isogels, I think.
Yeah. Have those. They're going to be half bananas. There's going to be flat Coke. There's going to be water. There's going to be some energy drink. I think some jelly babies. And jelly babies. New for this year.
As long as volunteers haven't eaten all the jelly babies.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's your incentive to get around there quickly.
2 feed stations on the run, which you'll go past twice. You're doing 2 laps. So you'll see 4 feed stations. And on the bike, there is 1 feed station, which we didn't talk about during the bike, which is the top of Edge Hill. So just as you're getting to the top of Edge Hill and you're needing a rest, there's an aid station there for you. In terms of that aid station, all the same kind of stuff. There is no bottle swap. Okay, so if you need water, then you're going to have to grab one of the bottles of water and squeeze it into your bottle, your water bottle, and then take off that way. But just so as you're aware, there's no bottle swap. Maybe when we're a bit bigger and we're that other well-known brand, we'll be able to do that kind of thing, but not quite yet, unfortunately.
I just have a quick word about litter.
Yep.
Please do not drop litter on the course. Please be careful if you're taking gels or bars or whatever. When you're on your bike, make sure you stuff the wrapper back into your tri-suit, up the tri-suit leg, sleeve, or in a pocket, and make sure it's properly in the pocket so it doesn't drop out. These races, we go through a lot of villages on these races, and if they see a whole load of litter behind, they won't welcome us back again. So please be careful with your litter. There will be litter zones at each of the feed stations. Those are the only places where you're allowed to drop litter. Please aim for the bins if you can, but we appreciate trying to throw gel wrappers off a bike, and hitting a dustbin is not that easy. So do your best, but please do not drop litter anywhere else on the course.
Okay. I think that's it for the middle distance. Again, if you've got any questions about any of this stuff, just put them in the comments and they'll appear on our screen and we'll hoover those up at the end. So sprint triathlon, sprint course, you're going to be queuing up at the same time. Your race starts at 8:30. There are 200 of you, so there's quite a lot of you going to be lining up. And you'll be, same as the middle distance really. You're going to be filing into the water fairly quickly, one after each other. And as you can see on the screen there, you've got a shorter loop. So you're using part of the big loop, but you're turning sooner, if that makes sense. So it should be nice and clear. 400 meters, 1 loop, and then you're going to climb back out, and then same as the middle distance, you're going to run across the field up to transition.
There will be kayakers on the water, obviously, for safety, but they're also because they'll still be the middle distance course out when the sprinters are in. The kayakers will guide you to make sure that you don't go off around the middle distance course. I think we had a question saying, will the 400 metre loop be clearly marked? Yes, it will be clearly marked. We won't let you disappear off down the 1900 metres of the lake.
Oh, that'd be annoying, wouldn't
it?
Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, transition there. Your transition area is on the left-hand side of the box, if you like. And the bike out and transition, obviously the mount and dismount line is the same as what we've already discussed with the middle distance. Haven't received the email. Okay, we'll go through those comments in a minute, Jane, in terms of emails and who's received what. Don't worry. Bike course, the signs are the same on the sprint distance bike course because it's a separate bike course apart from when it overlaps, and when it overlaps, you're going the same way as the middle distance bike course. So the signs are exactly the same as you see on the screen there. Nice simple bike course. So at Pot Farm, turn right, up and over the hill to Compton, and you guys are going to be turning right, whereas the middle distance course is going to be turning left at the T junction in Compton. So make sure you go the right way. It will be signposted.
And there will be a marshal.
And there'll be a marshal there as well. It can be a little bit of traffic. It's going to be fairly early, but it's Sunday morning, might be church and all that kind of stuff, traffic. So just be careful going through Compton.
A bit early for church, probably.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. But either way, just take it steady. You then got a straight run down towards Edge Hill. You don't go up Edge Hill. Don't worry about that. We turn left along Perimeter Road, over towards Temple Hardwick, and then up to Gaydon, and then back towards Compton, and then back home again. So pretty straightforward lap. It's fairly flat apart from the lump going out of out towards Kyneton, and then coming back out of Kyneton back towards
The rest of it.
the rest of it's pretty good. Yeah, the rest of it's pretty good. Transition, pretty straightforward, as we've already said with the middle distance. So yeah, dismount, put your bike in T2, and then off onto the run. Now the run course, so in fact, if I go back to transition here, just so as you can see this. So when you run out of transition, you can see top right, you're going to run out, then you run around the back of transition. Again, it will be clearly marked. This is to keep you out of the way of bike cyclists and things that are coming in. And then across the field, get rid of this, and whiz back down here again.
So you'll be heading back down the field towards where you got into the swim, really.
Yeah, so you run along the length. It's a lovely run, actually. Somebody said it was the nicest sprint run ever. There you go.
Somebody ran it yesterday.
It was it's very nice.
Beautiful sprint run they'd ever done.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to run down along the length of the lake, effectively, through the woods, through Combrook, and then you go up a nice hill in Combrook, and then you take a left turn at the top of the hill, and then you go through some woods, and then you effectively cut down directly towards the entrance to Compton Verney Museum. There is a road crossing at that point, so be careful. Again, the marshals can't kind of stop the traffic or anything. You do have to be careful there. So cross the road, and then you pick up a footpath across the meadow at the back of Compton Verney. A little left turn. You're going to say something?
Sorry. When you cross the road, you'll come across the entrance to Compton Verney Art Gallery and Museum. You don't run into the car park. It should be clearly signed. But when you get to the driveway into Compton Verney, you bear right, and you sort of cross over a little footbridge and then up into the meadow. So you go under the big Wellingtonia trees and into the meadow.
Yeah, into the meadow. It sounds nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, Old Town Meadow.
You'll be suffering by then, though, so it won't be that much. No, I shouldn't say that.
They've all been training hard.
Okay, and then you find your way back across the top of the course there. It's a lovely course, down through the woods and through to the finish. So for 5K, so that's pretty straightforward. Similar kind of thing. Lots more. I guess there's more grass for you guys.
It's pretty much all off road, apart from a little bit through Combrook. It's pretty much all off road for the sprint run. It is rolling. It's not a PB course, I don't think. That for a 5K.
Could be if it's your first one.
It could be for your first one, yeah. Or if you did it last year, it could be a PB.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a rolling course. It's a very scenic course.
Okay. So bike. So I kind of feel like we're steaming ahead here. So then you will have finished. So hopefully you'll be basking in your own glory at that point, having finished the race. But when you eventually calm down, then when you're ready to collect your bike, you can go and collect your bike. And you should be able to go and get your bike pretty much as soon as you've finished. So we'll have to kind of negotiate around people that may be still going through transition of things, but there'll be marshals there to help you with that. So please be aware, if you are getting your bike, there might be some other people racing, because actually thinking about the bike, the entrance to transition crosses where the run course is at that point. So just be careful.
Yeah, there'll be marshals. So please be patient. And if they ask you to wait until athletes come through, obviously you need to do so.
Right, rules. Now, it is a British Triathlon. It's an official race, if you like. It's permitted. There are British Triathlon officials on site. We do have a chief technical officer on site. We do have moto officials, so motorcycle referees on course, and they are looking to make sure that the races run well, everything's been done fairly, but they're also looking out for people that may be in breach of the rules, and the rules are there for good reason. And the main ones I'm thinking, we talk about, obviously Corin's mentioned littering and things like that, but particularly thinking about drafting on the bike. So have a read through the rules. If you don't know what drafting is, again, have a read through the rules there. It will explain it. But effectively, you can't ride too close to the cyclist in front of you, because you can get an unfair advantage by effectively being in their kind of slipstream, if you like. So you should be 12 metres which I kind of generally tell people kind of 3 car lengths or 4 car lengths of that kind of thing. And if you want to overtake, then you can overtake, of course. You can go into that gap, but you've got to pull out and then go past in one movement. You can't kind of take 3 hours to go past. So you've got to be quite positive in your overtaking. And similarly, if someone overtakes you and drops in front of you, then you do have to drop back. But if they're overtaking you, I would like to think that they will continue forwards and you won't have to kind of brake or anything like that. But just bear that in mind. Have a read through the rules there.
If you're the person behind, it's your responsibility to drop back. So you've got about 5 seconds to drop back out of their draft zone. So, that's what the motor officials, that's one of the main things that they check is whether people are drafting. So it's 12 metres for the middle distance and 10 metres for the sprint distance.
And you can get disqualified. So it's something that you want to avoid at all costs. So read through the rules. Littering I've already spoken about. Just be respectful to other people on the course because everyone's trying to have a good day in the same way that you are.
Can't have any mobile phones or video recording equipment or MP3 players or anything like that when you're out on the course. We did have a question about lights on the bike. It's not obligatory to have a light on the bike. If you were time trial racing, it would be, but in triathlon, it isn't obligatory to have lights.
Okay. So please read through the rules there. They're there for you to take a look at. It's your responsibility to know what the rules are. Withdrawing from the race. If you are unable to finish the race, please get a message to us to registration or Race HQ, which will be the same as where you registered, because obviously we need to know where everyone is on the course. So if you do have a problem, then please try and make us aware of that so we know where you are.
And you will need to return your timing chip as well if you withdraw from the race. So please don't withdraw and then get a lift home. Please come back to HQ. Obviously, if there's an emergency or anything, then just get a message to us. Please let somebody know if you're withdrawing for any reason.
There will be obviously race timing. The timing is being done by Race Timing Solutions. In the athlete guide, there is a link to our results page that should be being updated live throughout the day. So if you've got any friends and family who want to see where you are, then they should be able to click on that. And as you go through the split points, it should update. I don't think there's anything else to say.
The timing mats are only on site, so there's no they won't be able to track where you are on the bike course. They'll just be able to tell whether you're on the swim, the bike, or the run.
I don't know if we touched on this during the actual kind of the route information, but the timing mats, particularly when you're starting the swim, don't panic about it. It's not like the timer starts at 7 o'clock or 8:30. The timer starts when you cross the mat and enter the water. So don't worry about rushing. You'll be able to see the mat, and you'll be fully aware of when the timer actually starts. So don't panic about trying to rush across and get in the water and barging people out of the way and that kind of thing. So don't worry too much about that. Prizes, I've already told you about the prize giving. So midday for the sprint and 2 o'clock for the middle distance. There are going to be prizes for first, second and third overall, female and open. And there's also going to be age category winners for seniors, super veterans, vintage, and that's it. Veteran. Did I miss out veteran? Okay, veteran. And so please try and come to the awards, okay? Because I've been to lots of races lately, and there's one person standing on the podium on their own in third. Please try and hang around for the awards. I know people like to make a fast getaway, but it's nice. One day, if you don't get on the podium, one day you might, and you would want people to be there. So please kind of hang around if you can for the awards.
And equally, for those of you who finish early, please give those who are still racing a cheer. Don't just disappear off. If you finish your race, go grab yourself some food, get some cake and a drink, and just cheer the rest of the guys on who are on the course, because some of them are going to be out there for quite a while, and they need to see smiley faces. Because everybody knows that smiling makes you go faster, and
is that right?
Makes you feel better.
Medical, so there's obviously going to be medical support on site if anyone happens to need that. And don't be shy about, if you need some help, then that's what they're there for. And I know plenty of people kind of made use of them last year for various reasons, so don't be shy, they're there to be used. Mechanical support we've already spoken about. Photographs, there will be an official photographer, so the details are in the athlete guide. So once he's finished taking his photographs, I think it's race line photographs and also some out and about on course, then they'll be updated to the website, so you can press the link there and you purchase what you need from there. That can't be it.
Well, should we go through the questions?
That can't be it. That wasn't 2 hours like it usually is. Okay, all right. So again, if you've got any questions, please fire them in, because we're going to run through these questions that are on the screen. There's quite a few. No naughty ones, because they all come on the same screen. Shouldn't say that, because people will send naughty questions, don't they? Okay, anyway. What have we got?
So
where are we?
I think
most of them are saying they can hear us. That's
first one, Adrian. What time does the site open on Saturday for those staying overnight?
5 o'clock.
So that's when the car park will be open, and there's no sort of formal camping. There's no camping facilities there. If you have to be self-sufficient, as we said before, please no fires or sort of gas on the
fireworks.
Certainly no fireworks. no sort of gas flames sort of on the ground. And the only facilities in terms of toilets and things are those that are down at Race HQ. So you will have to walk down the hill to the loos. Please be respectful. The site that we're using is private land. It's basically somebody's back garden. So please be respectful of that. Keep noise to a minimum, and make sure that you only use the toilet facilities that are provided. Yeah,
I don't think we touched on the toilets, did we? Because there are portaloos on site, obviously. There are a number by registration, and there are some on the actual... they're on the course, but they're within the kind of... within Park Farm. So they're not out... If you're out and about, there's no toilets out and about on the course itself. But there are toilets on the course, predominantly when you're on the run, I guess.
Yeah, so they're sort of... Some up at the top of the field near HQ, and then there's some that are closer to the swim start and actually on the run course.
Yeah. But wetsuits. We've already spoken about wetsuits, haven't we? Should we answer that just in case anyone else has joined?
Wetsuits, if you want them. If you don't want them, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not going to be too cold, and it won't be too hot either. So you'll be good either way. Simon, is the field clear of sheep poo this year? Well, you'd have to ask the sheep that, Simon. The sheep have been in there. It is a working field. We do our best to clear it. So there's no guarantees that you won't find any sheep poo, Simon. I'd like to say there it's like a bowling green, but it's not. It's a field. But we do, in fairness, we do our best to clear the bulk of it. Make it sound like it is awful.
It can't be as bad.
We'll do the best we can.
At Holcombe was at the weekend with goose poo.
Yeah.
The sheep haven't been on there as much recently as they were last year, so there shouldn't be too much, and we'll do our best to clear the route from the swim to the transition. Yeah. Will we be able to warm up in the lake before the start? I'm sorry, Helen, no, we can't do that. Obviously the sprint athletes are going to have the middle distance athletes in there before them, and the middle distance athletes, the safety staff will not be ready and available for you to do that. They'll probably be doing other things, quite frankly, before it starts as well. So you're going to have to do some kind of lakeside warm-ups for that, I'm afraid. We can't cover that on a safety side of things. Will there be marshals to help and directions of the bike and run? Yes, there will be. So that shouldn't be a problem. I think we've covered that. Simon, do I need a rear bike light? Just covered that one as well. Have you? Oh, maybe I wasn't listening. Did you? You don't have to. If you feel more comfortable with a rear light, then that's great. Yeah. But they're not obligatory.
Jane, you said you haven't received the Facebook, the email, the Facebook page says was sent yesterday. Yeah, we've sent them out, and most of the people I've been checking have actually they've been sent, and they've definitely been sent. So sometimes, you know what they're like, they go into spam, or they end up just kind of not appearing for random reasons. What I'll do actually is I'll post the key links in the description below this video. So if nothing else, then you can get it for there. And I think what we can do is I'll add a page to the athlete guide. I'll add it because it's a live document. We can add a page to the end of that, and we'll put some links on there too. So you should definitely be able to find the information that you need. So apologies if you haven't had those, but we have sent them out. Bicycle Ben, can I use a mirror on the handlebars for viewing behind? Do you know? I'm not sure the rules on that.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, we better check that.
I was
one.
hoping you'd know.
We better. Yeah, I was hoping you would know that. I should have left it for you to read
I have
out.
a feeling that you might not be able to.
Yeah,
but that's something we will have to check with
Yeah.
the technical official on site. I have a feeling you can't. In the same way you can't have baskets on your bike, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's just trying to reduce the amount of sticky out things on the bike, for want of a better way of putting it, for obvious reasons. So that's it. Julie, I hope your meeting with your boss goes well. Julie says you got a meeting with Julia. You got a meeting with your boss. Hope that goes well, Julia. That's all the questions on there. I feel like we've missed lots of stuff out, but I don't think we have. 55 minutes. That's not too bad for us.
Wow.
So I'm just gonna kind of wrap up now. But if you've got anything else that springs to your mind, chuck it on the screen, and it'll come up and we'll answer that for you. But yeah, I hope you have a great day. I know lots of you have been training super hard for this. I mean, regardless of the type of race that you're doing, whether it be the sprint or the middle distance, they are epic challenges for most of you. So, you know, have a great day. The weather is looking kind of changeable, it must be said. So let's keep our fingers crossed for it. So, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes with the weather and things. But we'll still have a great day. We'll still have a great day regardless. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. All right. Well done to the... there's 22 left. We've got rid of some of you, so that's great. All right. Well, thanks very much for listening. And yeah, we'll see you on Saturday and Sunday. Take care.
See you there.
Bye. Where's off? There we go. Bye-bye.